Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next edition of Current Affairs Important Events. Today, we are going to cover the last week of November, and we'll cover all the important news from 22nd of November to 28th of November. So let's go ahead and begin with a good news. So India now has more females than men. I hope we all understand the sex ratio. And if we talk about the sex ratio, it has always been number of females less than the number of males. Though this is a primary data, but according to National Family Health Survey, NFHS 5, data for 2019-21, the overall sex ratio has risen to 1020 from 991 in 2015-16. The corresponding figure for the 2005-6 period was 1000. However, the sex ratio at birth remains an area of concern at 929, which actually indicates continued sex selection at birth. So we all understand this sex determination criteria, sex selection criteria at birth, and that is definitely one of the reasons why the sex ratio at birth remains low. The increased sex ratio, the number of more females than men, can actually be attributed to increased life expectancy of the woman. What exactly is birth ratio? Birth ratio is defined as the number of female birth as against 1,000 male births. Looking at the report, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Bihar, Orissa, Himachal Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala actually saw a dip in the sex ratio at birth as against the previous survey of 2005 and 2006. Delhi saw the most significant improvement in sex ratio at birth, which increased from 812 to 923. So that is something to actually cheer about. While the entire world is grappling with COVID 19 and we have not yet come out of the impact of the Delta variant, scientists in South Africa have detected a new variant of COVID 19 which has multiple mutations. The variant goes by the scientific name B.1.1529 and has very high number of mutation. The World Health Organization on 26th of November declared the variant as a variant of concern and renamed it Omicron. Now, nations across have rushed to ban flights from the African nations to slow the spread of Omicron. And it is yet not clear whether the new variant is more severe than the Delta one. While the doctors at Africa do maintain that the number of hospitalizations have been quite less or negligible, but it is yet to be known how transmissible this virus is or this mutation of the virus is. Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually reviewed the situation and has sought review of plans to ease international travel. India was set to ease the travel policy for the international travelers, which I think is definitely going to be impacted with this new development. 13 countries so far have reported to have detected cases with Omicron. The first ever multidimensional poverty index MPI was prepared by Niti Aayog and released last week. The report is based on the reference period of 2015-16 of the National Family Health Survey, NFHS, and the MPI, the Multidimensional Poverty Index, seeks to measure poverty across its multiple dimensions and complements existing poverty statistics based on per capita consumption and expenditure. If you look at the report, Bihar has the highest proportion of people at 51.91, almost 52%, who are multidimensionally poor, followed by Jharkhand at 42.16% and Uttar Pradesh, which is moving ahead for elections in March, somewhere around March 2022, the percentage stood at 37.79%. The positive news is that Kerala, Sikkim, and Goa have the lowest percentage of people multidimensionally poor at 0.71, 3.76, and 3.82% respectively. The report also states that close to 27.9% of India's population is multidimensionally poor. The report is on the lines or has been released very next to what you can say the global MPI. The global multidimensional poverty index was released by United Nations Development Program and Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, OPHI. According to Global MPI 2021, India's rank is 66 out of 109 countries. So that's something which one needs to ponder about, and I'm sure the government will definitely come out with policies to look at this situation, to look at the problem of poverty, which has been grappling our country for a long, long time now. While the Supreme Court continues to hear the different petitions about the criteria of quota in the EWS category, the economically weaker section category, the center has agreed to revisit the criteria for EWS after being wrapped up by the Supreme Court during one of the hearings. The center has agreed to set up a committee to examine the issue and has sought 4 weeks time from Supreme Court to take a final decision. Earlier, Supreme Court had suggested that cost of living or per capita income be considered for the same as one of the criteria, on which center submitted its response saying it won't be practical considering the urban and rural settings in the country. The hearing is now scheduled in first week of January, and this is likely to impact the PG admissions through the NEET examination. Good news from our neighboring front. Nepal and Bangladesh are now part of the group of developing nations. The United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, has upgraded Nepal, Bangladesh, and Lao People's Democratic Republic from least developed country to group of developing nations. The UNGA, to this effect, adopted the resolutions at its 76th session. Currently, there are 46 countries in the least developed countries list, according to the UN Committee for Development Policy. According to United Nations, per capita income of $1,230 is one of the requirements for transitioning to a developing nation. Other important news which you must read about or you must know about is government has listed the bill in parliament to ban all the private cryptocurrencies of United States government taking similar measures, but no timeline has been given yet as when this oil reserves will be released. The 5 million barrels of oil reserves represents 1 day consumption of our country of the petroleum products. Government also plans to go for an annual spectrum auction to assure regular airwave supplies to the network companies. This comes on the lines of having given relief to the operators almost 2 months ago. On the sports front, India and New Zealand drew their first test match. That was all about the important and the most important news of the last week of November. Please do subscribe to the channel to get regular updates and do not forget to subscribe to our other social media platforms, LST India at Facebook, for on Telegram, LST for Law, and on Instagram at the rate LST for Law. Thank you.